Greetings and welcome to a review and discussion of a Minecraft movie. I'm going to be playing some Minecraft just so that there's something to be shown on the screen. I'll show you some graphics and some bullet points about my review over top of those as we go. A little bit of context and history. I've been playing Minecraft for over 15 years. I get a lot of enjoyment and unwinding out of the game. I find it to be extremely creative. It's something exciting I can do and discuss with friends. And it has led me to many real world adventures, publishing books, speaking at conferences, traveling to meet friends across the country and across the world, in fact. So I really love Minecraft as a whole. I saw the movie on the opening weekend, but I do need to point out that I did not experience the theater disruption of kids shouting and throwing candy and things that I'm hearing reported a lot in the news. I actually had anticipated we might see some of that. I really didn't. What happened in my theater was everyone was laughing, cringing, clapping, and overall, I really enjoyed myself. I would see it again. So my overall review, I think, is about 2.5 stars out of 4 if you use that kind of rating scale. I would definitely recommend this to other Minecrafters, and by that I kind of mean folks who are currently in their, the 18 to 50 range Minecrafters, or 18 to 75, whatever. People who know Minecraft and have been playing it for a while, I would definitely recommend it if you can bear with the level of absurd humor that is there. I think if you stripped a lot of that away, you guys will find something in there that you like. And let's face it, this is a overall celebration of Minecraft. We've been waiting for this movie for 15 years. It does a sufficient job, I think, of honoring the game. There's Easter eggs in there, which I really enjoyed. Now, it's not exactly my Minecraft, but it's not that far off, and I will go into that in a moment. So, I said it was 2.5 out of 4 stars. For comparison, I would say I picked out a couple of video game or game-based movies or similar movies, like Detective Pikachu. I would say is probably 3.5 out of 4 stars. Like it's between 3.5 and 4 out of 4, to be honest. Jumanji 2 with Jack Black, I think, was pretty good. I would put the Minecraft movie just below those, and I've rated the Warcraft movie about similar, 2 to 2.5 stars, but it's below Minecraft. I put Minecraft over the recent Super Mario Brothers movie. I'm not going to go into too much why, but I thought the Super Mario Brother movie was just a little too simplified, and I really didn't like Jack Black's singing in either movie. But I actually thought it was a little better in Minecraft, which surprises me. And then, like, the Rampage movie is another video game based movie with big hulky stars in it, and I've got that below Super Mario Brothers. So, in a lot of ways, I feared this movie was gonna be terrible, and I went in with very low expectations. And in some ways, it was about what I expected. So the story felt pretty cobbled together. There was a lot of stuff in there, and there wasn't really the kind of arcs that I would typically expect in a good movie. It wasn't bad. It just, there was a lot. One of the biggest things that I feared before seeing the movie was just Jack Black as Steve. He's not my Steve. He was better than I thought in the movie, but it's just not the energy of Steve, or the body type of Steve that I would be looking for. I thought the animation choice, where it's real people in an animated world for the Minecraft part, was interesting. I think they actually did a better job than I thought, but it was slightly rubbery. Some of the flowers and foliage things were a little too fuzzy looking, too furry, and the creepers I really didn't like the creepers in this movie. Um, and then, as I feared going in, there's going to be a lot of cringy humor and memes. I wasn't expecting to laugh out loud at some of it. So it got me. It got me. And then, in a few more ways, it was way better than I feared. So, like, it was so absurd. It was over the top absurd. And it kind of created this double negative effect where, like, I thought it was going to be absurd. It was even more absurd in ways I didn't really imagine. So once I accepted that fact, I actually liked it. Uh, there's a significant amount of real world plot in there that doesn't really have anything to do with the Minecraft world. I was really afraid that this was going to be a story where people from apparently different time periods, like I thought 70s, 80s, and today, were all sucked into the Minecraft world and trapped there or something. It wasn't that. It was actually okay. I'm not a big Portal into Minecraft world fan, but I liked what they did. I thought that the setup was um, I'll use the word believable or explained. It was actually important to the plot. It wasn't a convenient way to get people into Minecraft. And I was also really happy that Jason Momoa was not the guy who's just going to save every time because he's big and strong. I thought they did a really funny and good job of characterizing him completely opposite to what you would expect. So those are some of my highlights. And now I'm going to go into two topics. One is, how was it as a movie, as a video game movie, and how was it compared to my Minecraft? So, how was it as a cinematic experience of a video game movie? I rated this on 10 different dimensions, of course, and each of those could get a score from 0 to 4. So the first one was the overall tone of the movie, and I ended up giving it a 3 out of 4. As I mentioned already, it was overly absurd, but if you accepted that, and if you accept the fact that there are a lot of kids that play this game, what do kids like? They like absurd humor. It fit. As I mentioned, the tone felt there was a lot of stuff kind of cobbled together. Not all of the jokes I think are going to appeal to kids. They appealed to a wide audience. There's a lot of really good Easter eggs. Like I thought it, for the most part, captured Minecraft. I thought it had an overall sort of Willy Wonka feel, but with more absurd humor. So if you're a Willy Wonka fantastical fan, which to me is like the rubberized version of Harry Potter, if that makes sense, that's the tone that I took away. And I ended up enjoying it. I debated this score. Would I give it a 2 or a 3? It leaned a little bit more towards a 3. The visual wonder is something I would want in a movie version of a video game. Here again, I went with a 3. I thought it was pretty grand, although at some points I didn't feel like I was getting the Minecraft open world Endless Horizon. It felt a little bit shoeboxed in. Some of the movies taking place in a village, flying in canyons, inside the forest. It felt what I called shoebox grand, as opposed to wide open spaces. I think I already mentioned that some of the textures a little too furry, a little too rubbery, but overall, it was an interesting choice to do things like have a human in a costume, but with a big blocky head that was CGI. It works. for the most part, and it kind of also makes fun of people who walked around for the last decade with these big giant square cardboard things covering their head. So it worked. But I think the trees looked nice. I think the landscapes looked nice. The flowers were a bit too blocky. I would have wanted the flowers to be more two-dimensional plus signs like they are in Minecraft. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. I think the buildings looked great. They looked like Minecraft buildings, but possibly had a little bit too much fine detail because this is supposed to be a very blocky world. So visually, I gave it a 3 out of 4. Sound effects, I don't normally rate. When I think of a movie in my head, I don't really think of the sound effects. But the fact that they chose to use some of the in game Minecraft sound effects as is, just literally those .ogg files, really made me smile every time I heard one of them. The rest of the movie, I didn't notice the sound effects being good or bad, so it would have been an average score, but I bumped it up to a 3 out of 4 because of the bravery of literally just using these computer game files. On the other hand, the musical score. So when the movie started, you heard part of the Minecraft theme by C418, and I was really excited. And there were hints of Minecraft-like music, but honestly, there were too many soundtracky songs throughout. I felt like they kind of just wanted to have some sort of famous, recognizable songs more than they wanted ones that really fit the movie. So it wasn't bad, but I just gave it a 1 out of 4. Uh, the other thing that I thought about is like in Minecraft, like did they show off the Minecraft world? Was there enough biome diversity? I think it was okay in the overworld. I like that they went to the dark forest, the dark oak forest, and they mentioned the mushrooms and showed it a little bit. I liked that they flew through the Badlands. I felt like I wanted a little bit more in the Nether, even if it was just some establishing shots of the lava and the landscape. I felt like the Nether was very enclosed within a bastion. So I would have liked a little bit more biome diversity there. And the Minecraft world forest and village biomes were okay. It bugged me a teeny tiny bit that it was a forest or plains village. I'm actually not quite sure, but there were villagers in costumes from all of the other villages. That was a little weird to me. But I thought, okay, maybe Steve trapped them in boats and brought them here over great distances. So 2 out of 4, that was fine. The characters themselves, now this is something that I thought about in terms of not their Minecraft personas, except for Steve, but just were they good movie characters? So I felt like they were all sufficiently motivated and pretty varied. There was some diversity there, but I kind of feel like there was diversity because they were supposed to have diversity. I actually don't think that they should have had 4 characters plus Steve. I, based on what happened in the movie, I feel like the 2 female characters were both underused. One of them far more than the other. Could have been combined into one character that would have been a lot stronger. I loved that. I loved Jason Momoa's character. The more I think about it, how ineffective he was. I mentioned earlier that he didn't save the day with his muscles, and I thought that was great. I thought the kid, the boy character, was fine. I get that he was the brains, and I think they showed it, but that was kind of it. Not sure they learned. I'm not sure he learned anything. I think Jason Momoa learned stuff. I think the female characters kind of come out at the end where they were. So anyway, 2 out of 4 on characters. They were okay, but they could have been a lot better. Um, and then I thought about, because it's a Minecraft movie, like what were the mobs like? So the passive mobs, the sheep, the llamas, the pigs, cows, good variety. A little too rubbery, comical. I thought the wolf looked a little too big, and it was just a little bit off from Minecraft. It was a little too blocky, to be honest. But they were fine. 2 out of 5. I might have gone with a 2.5 here, but instead I decided to give that to the hostile mobs and ended up rating the hostile mobs 3 out of 4. Sorry, I just said 5. I mean, everything's out of 4. Hostile mobs, great variety, actually. I thought that the skeletons were a little too bumbling. I thought that the zombies were a little too hard to kill. And what I specifically mean by this is they do take a lot of hits in the game when you're using like a fist or a hoe, and that was all fine. But there was a couple scenes where they had beat the one zombie and he's laying on the ground basically defeated, but he didn't turn into smoke particles and drop his rotten flesh. Whereas in several other scenes, a mob was beaten to the point where it would have fallen to the ground immobile, and it did die in a puff of smoke, which is what happens in the game. So I don't know why they chose to not have the zombie turn into a puff of smoke. I thought the creepers were horrible. I'm sorry. They didn't look great. At one point, there was a whole cave full of creepers standing right next to our characters for like 30 seconds, not exploding and just starting to flash slowly. That was bad. Like the threat of the creepers was a joke. Their fuses were way too long. They kind of looked like these Christmas ornaments that you put out on your lawn, which has got like a wire frame, and then it's got this sort of like fuzzy cloth, not pinata paper, but fuzzy cloth over it, and then it lights up from the inside. I really thought the creepers, which should have been the most impressive thing in this whole movie, were a big letdown. What I really liked was the gas platforms. The gas themselves were too rubbery, but I really liked the little platforms hanging from the gas that the piglins were riding on. I would love to see that in Minecraft instead of the way they are implementing rideable guests now. But overall, I kind of thought between passive mobs and hostile mobs, one of them should be a 3, the other one should be a 2, and this is how it panned out for me. And then I added this category of fantastical objects because I was really curious, how are they going to make diamond armor look and a diamond pickaxe? And I actually think it didn't look too bad. Was it believable? I'm not sure how you would ever make it believable. When you saw those diamonds themselves, they looked like broken sea glass. But when they were crafted into swords and armor, it looked pretty good. I actually thought the character should be wearing more armor, at least leather armor or cobbled, some gold armor. When they saw the piglins would have been nice. The basic tools, I thought they did a nice job of covering the basic Minecraft tool crafting. I thought the water buckets were a little too bulky. And then there were some things that I think either they went too far or they might be from Minecraft Legends or Minecraft Dungeons. I'm not sure. But like the boots of speed, the winged boots, I was like, what are those? Okay, I hope those are in another Minecraft property. And the tater gun kind of annoyed me. I don't know why he didn't just get an enchanted bow or something. Why they added a tater gun, which there's nothing even similar to that in Minecraft as far as I know. So overall, on the left of this graph, you can kind of see a spiderweb diagram of where I think this movie lands in these different dimensions. I think it's overall a good movie. It's not a great movie, but hopefully it is one of many Minecraft movies to come. And I would love to see like a dark survival horror Minecraft movie. I'd love to see something something in between. I think this is one end of the spectrum. So again, if you can put up with the absurd humor and you're a Minecrafter, I think you'd probably like this movie. Now, how did this depict my Minecraft? This is where I spent most of the last week thinking about it. And hopefully you can tell from the spiderweb graph on the left. I again have 10 categories of the types of things you do in Minecraft. What type of game is Minecraft? It's actually a lot of games in one. My Minecraft is the green line, and the orange line is the Minecraft movie. And as you can see, these two shapes that form are about 70% overlap. So if you look at the graph or you look at the table on the right, yes, for the most part, this is about 70% of my Minecraft. Now, what is my Minecraft versus the movie? My Minecraft, almost first and foremost, is telling some type of adventure story. Whether it's a single player survival game, whether it's a multiplayer world, whether it's a pseudo, uh, not scripted, but animated story, playing adventure maps, CTM maps. Like, story is the king. And I would say that this movie had a 3 out of 4 story. It did have variety of character. They were motivated. It had some arc, some pacing. Uh, I think it was a good story for what it was. I think the second thing that makes Minecraft mine is the survival game or the player versus environment aspect. So, do you have to eat food to stay alive? Do you have to fend off the cold? Do you take fall damage? That's I my preferred Minecraft is like a 2 out of 4, meaning those things exist, but they can be pretty simply dealt with and you don't have to worry about them constantly. And that's about how the movie felt. It acknowledged these things, but it didn't make them the point of survival, so I thought that was a pretty good fit. Uh, my Minecraft is like a 4 out of 4 exploration game, wandering around, finding mesas, or sorry, finding biomes, new biomes, finding new creatures, finding weird, amazing, random vistas and beautiful arches and rivers, finding hidden and buried treasures and temples. That didn't really happen in the movie. Pretty much the only time they traveled was where Steve was directing them where to go. There wasn't much of an exploration element. They did have to go and find some things, but it wasn't an exploration game per se, so I gave it a 2 out of 4. The other aspect of Minecraft that's really big for me is the creative or building game. So, building structures, bridges, decorating your village, etc. That's really important. I actually think the movie did a pretty sufficient job of showing this off. Um, where it fell a bit short to me is in Minecraft. I enjoy the building game when you have limited resources. So, not creative mode, but survival building. And the movie kind of put the players in creative mode where they could just pick up one log and then point and place down 50 logs. And that bugged me a little bit. So, I bumped it down to a 3 out of 4. Another aspect of my Minecraft is the crafting game. So the progression of combining items to make other items, either for utility, for fun, for combat, what have you. I don't want that to dominate my game and be 4 out of 4 all the time, but my preferred is about 3 out of 4, and that's about what I saw in the movie. I actually figured that the movie covers what my Minecraft crafting game is pretty well. Same goes with automation. I do automate sometimes, but usually not too often. So the movie acknowledged automation. It acknowledged redstone contraptions. It showed uh, it showed them, and but it didn't dwell on them, and that was a just it felt just right for me, the amount of automation. The eighth category on my list is mini games, and by this I was thinking of like a lot of people's Minecraft experience is on minigame servers, and they play these mini games all the time. I also played a lot of Minecraft puzzle maps, custom maps that are puzzle based, or played plenty of sport based maps where you've got teams competing, or even within a single storyline, logic puzzles that characters have to solve. And I kind of grouped all of this under mini games, and I love those in my Minecraft experience about 50% of the time. So 2 out of 4. I don't recall any of that in the movie, or if there was, it was less than 25%. So I gave it a 0 out of 4. Similarly, combat PvP, I don't care for it, whether it's in an enclosed arena or whether it's out in the open world and somebody can come and fight you and you have to protect your stuff so they don't steal it. I don't care for that, although once in a while it is fun to play a PvP match. The Minecraft movie had no player versus player whatsoever. Um, I thought about it. What they could have done is something like another person who came into the Minecraft world was uh, that they had to fight against them in some way. That there was an antagonist who came from the real world instead of just the Minecraft antagonists. Um, I didn't give a spoiler warning up top, but there are some of Steve's actions in the movie that you could say go against some of the other characters once in a while, and that could have resulted in some light PvP. I'm not asking for this movie to be PvP. My preferred Minecraft experience is like 1 out of 4, 25% of the time. It's probably less than that. This movie had 0. So this didn't count against my rating of the movie, um, but it does fall a little bit short of what my Minecraft is in this category. Um, I will move on. The last category in the combat is the combat versus the monsters, or just combat in general. And my Minecraft, similar to survival, similar to the amount of automation or mini games, 50% of the time. I do enjoy the choreography of dodging skeletons, blocking them with my shield, running up, slashing them. I don't like care for the boss, the Ender Dragon or Wither fights all that much. Once per world is fine with me to get a beacon, to get the end cleared. That's fine, but I don't like to do it per se. I honestly just enjoy all of the other elements of Minecraft without. If there were no hostile mobs, I'd probably be okay with that. Other than I do love running across the big open field when other mobs are chasing me in skeletons, and the dance of dodging them. So I like my threat level pretty low to normal is what I would say. 2 out of 4. I think the movie I ended up rounding up on this one and giving them a 4 out of 4 because there was quite a lot of combat and a lot of variety of combat, a lot of choreography. Whether it was the baby zombie on the chicken jockey, whether it was the spiders, the skeletons with the spiders, and the way that the combat happened, I thought was creative. It wasn't just the same hack and slash over and over and over. I actually quite enjoyed. I loved like the iron golems, and none of it went on too long. It just, I thought the combat actually at the end of all of this was probably the strongest part of the movie when you compare it to my version of Minecraft. It was actually higher scored. So net, I did some behind the scenes calculations and weighting, and the movie, what it shows you is about 70% of what my Minecraft experience is. Um, Put a little caveat on it that the movie should be considered like a multiplayer experience, which actually gives it even more of a bonus. Um, and the absurd jokey part took a little bit away, which isn't really in any of these categories. But so going back, overall review, 2.5 out of 4. Would recommend. Uh, would love to hear in the comments what you thought of the movie. Would love to see another one, and hope you enjoyed this discussion.